In this video, you will learn how to create a header file in C++. Typically, header files in C++ contains declaration of functions, classes, variables, and other identifiers. And you as a C++ programmer have used header files in your code. For example, the most obvious header file is the IOStream header file that provides you with input-output functionalities. There is also the string header file, which provides you, for example, with the function called getLine. So we have used header files in our code, but can we create header files? Well, yes, we can. And why do we create header files? Well, basically, we use header files to separate implementation from declaration. So inside header files, you'll find declaration of functions or classes. You won't find implementation. And it is a way to organize declaration from implementation. Now, let's go ahead and see how to create a header file. To do that, I'm going to go up here and create a new file, and I'm going to call this file person.h because I'm going to create a class called person. So the header file will have the same name as the class, and of course with the extension of .h. Now always when you want to when you want to create a header file, you should always start with these three guards or header guards. The first one will be if and diff, like this, person h. What does this mean? This means that you are checking if the header file person.h was defined or not. If it wasn't defined, what I want to do is I want to define it by saying define person.h. These are header guards. Now always we need to end our header file with the end if header guard. This is used to say that the code is complete or the program is terminated. Now, between those three header guards, I'm going to go ahead and create my class. So I'm going to say class person like this. Now what does a person have? The person have a name, a last name, and an age, for example. So let's go ahead and declare those data members. So I'll say private like this, and I'll say string name. Now as you can see, string here is not defined. That's because we need to first of all include the string library. After this, we can go ahead down here and say std string like this. But if you want to avoid this std right here, you could always go ahead and say using namespace std like this. Excuse me, namespace std. Okay, you can do this. And now things work properly. So let's go ahead and say string last name here and an int age like this. After this, I'm going to specify some public functionalities. First of all, it will be the constructor, and I'm going to specify a string, or I want to pass a string, which will be the last name, or excuse me, the name. This one will be the last name, and the other one will be for the age. As you can see, this is only the declaration of the constructor. Now let's go ahead and specify some getter and setter functions. So let's say string get name like this. And so as you can see, this is only the declaration. So I'm going to say again right here, string get last name like this, and int get age like this. Okay, now for the setter functions, I'm going to say void set name like this, and I'm going to pass a string for it. So string like this. I'm going to say here void set last name, and also I will pass a string for this. So string. And lastly, we'll have set age. I'll pass an integer. Now as you can see, we have finished declaring our person class. Now where do we provide the implementation? Well, basically we need to go up here and create a new file called person.cpp. This is where we will provide the implementation of the class that is inside our .h file. Now inside the CPP file, what I will do is I'll say include person.h. So I want to include my header file in order to access the class and eventually give implementation for my functionalities. And again, I'm going to say using namespace std like this. I'm going to also include the string library. So include string like this. And of course, you can include IOStream if you need input and output. Now, let's go ahead and start by giving implementations for the functionalities of this class. Now, because the functionalities of the .h is inside a class called person, that means inside the person.cpp, in order to access the class, the functionalities of class person, you need to first of all specify person like this, and using the scope resolution operator, you can go ahead and access the functionalities or variables of this class. So I want to first of all start by giving implementation for my constructor. And so this constructor accepts string name, string last name like this, so string last name and we have int h, like this. Now what I could do is that I could go ahead and assign those to the data member. So I could say this and person name. So I'm using the person class followed by the resolution operator or the scope resolution operator in order to access this variable that belongs to the class person. Now I will say this name equal to name. I could do the same thing for the other. So this last name equal to last name, and I could say this person age, well, age like this equal to age. Now let's go ahead and do the same thing for the getter functions. So I'll say person, or first of all, the getter functions have return types. So always specify the return type and then say person get name. So then comes the function. So I could say now return like this person name. Now let's do the same thing for the other. So string person get last name. And now I could say return like this. So return this person last name. Okay, like this. And we have another one. So int person get age like this. And now I could say return this person age like this. So person and age. So you get the idea. This is how you can actually access functionalities of the .h file and actually give them implementation. So I'm going to give you some time, so pause this video and you're going to go ahead and give the implementations for these setter functions. So there you have it. I did them also, and there it is. So as always, we will use the person class followed by the scope resolution operator to access the functionalities and variables of the person.h file. And so there it is. This is our implementation. Now let's go back to our main file where there is the main function, and we'll go ahead and use this person class. So in order to use it, what I will do is I will include, and I will say include only, I will include the header file. Like this. So I'll say include person, not person.cpp, person.h, like this. So we only include the declaration, we don't include the implementation. So basically we are hiding the implementation from the user. Now we could go ahead and say person p like this, and of course we need to pass some parameters or arguments to the constructor. So first of all we have name, let's say last name Davis, and 34 like this. Now I've prepared those block of code right here in order to test out this person object, for example. So we are going to first of all see out the name, last name and age of this person, then we'll change the name of this person as well as last name and age, and then we will see out again the name, last name and age of this person. Now let's go ahead and see how we could compile and launch this type of program. So as usual, if you want to launch a program in C++ and using a console like this, we will say g++-o file.exe, our main file, and file.cpp. Now, because we have a person.cpp file, we should also include it right here, because we want to make sure that we also compile this file also. So I'll hit enter, and this should work. And now we could go ahead and say file.exe, so we are launching this file.exe. As you can see, it works properly right now. Now I want to show you how you can do whatever you used to do with classes, but this time with a header file. So I'm going to go ahead right here and I'm going to create another header file called student.h and a C++ file called student.cpp. So I want to create a student object where this student object will inherit from person. So as usual, inside my header file, I want to say if and if like this student.h. These are the three header guards that you need to include. So now I'm going to say it's define student h like this, and I'll say and if at the end like this. Now between those guards I'm going to say class like this, class student, and I'm going to say also include string like this, and I'm going to say using namespace like this standard. Okay. So these students have for example, a private data member, which will be the major, for example. Now, because I want this student to inherit from person class, what I will do is I will go ahead and include the .h file of person. So I'm going to say person.h. So person, not cpp.h, like this. Now I could go ahead and inherit from person by saying public person. Now I'm inheriting from this class called person. Now let's go ahead down here and specify the implementation, or excuse me, the declaration of the functions of this student class. So I have student constructor, which takes a string. Now, because we are in the concept of inheritance, always we need to make sure that when we want to create the student constructor, we need to first of all initialize the data members of the base class first before initializing the data members of the derived class. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to specify string again, and int. These are the data members that will initialize the person object. So name, last name, and age. After this, I could initialize the data member of my student class, which will be major. Okay. Now I'm going to add one more functionality, which will be the getter and setter function for the major data member. So I'm going to say string get name major like this, and I'm going to say void set major and pass it a string like this. Okay, now that we have the student.h completed, let's go ahead and complete the student.cpp file. So inside the CPP file, I'm going to say include like this. So include student.h, and I'm going to include person.h because I'm going to use its constructor. So I'm going to say person.h. You will see what I mean. And I'm going to say include string like this, and using namespace like this. So namespace std like this. Okay. Now, because we're going to use the student constructor, I'm going to access it by using the student class followed by the scope resolution operator, and I'm going to say student like this. And so this is the constructor. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pass string name, string last name, and int age, as well as string major like this. Okay? Now, as always, we need to make sure that we initialize the base class constructor before we initialize the student class constructor. So what I'm going to do, and that's why I included the person.h file right here, in order to access the person constructor by saying person first and using the scope resolution operator to access the constructor of this class. Now I'm going to pass for it name like this. So name, last name, and major like this. So we will initialize these data members. And I did a mistake. I should say age right here, not major. Okay, now that works properly. Now what I'm going to say here is I'm going to say this student major like this equal to major. So I'm initializing the data member of student. Now let's go ahead and do for the getter function. So I'm going to say string student, and as you can see, get major. I'm going to say return this like this. So this student, and access major like this. And now for the setter function, I'm going to say student set major and pass a new major, and I'm going to say this student major equal to major like this, and major. Okay, now that we have this one done, let's go ahead and go to my file.cpp, and I'm going to include student.h like this. And now let's test this code. So I'm going to say, let's say I'm going to create a student object. I'm going to call it s, and I'm going to pass some arguments for the constructor. So I'm going to say p.getName because I simply wanted to have the same name as this object. I'm going to say p.getName, p.getLastName, p.getAge, not set age, get age like this. And let's say Bob is doing computer science, so comp sci like this. Okay, now we have those getter functions. Let's go ahead and take those off. Let's say I'm going to say cout s.getMajor, okay, and l, and let's say I'm going to say cout s.getName like this. And let's say S or Bob decided to change major from computer science to, for example, business. So I'm going to say s.setMajor to business like this, okay? And I'm going to say cout s.getMajor. So get major like this. And now we could go ahead and test our code. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this command, but this time I'm going to add student.cpp because we have another CPP file that we need to compile. So I'm going to press enter, and now I'm going to say file.exe to launch it like this. And as you can see, it works properly. Alright, this is it for header files in C++. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure to subscribe to stay up to date for the next video.